So welcome, Mr. Elbegdorj Tsakhia. It's the former Prime Minister and President of Mongolia. Mr. Elbegdorj Tsakhia is a public servant, freedom fighter, and a policymaker from Mongolia. In 1990, he was one of the key leaders of the Mongolian Democratic Revolution, and since then have continuously served Mongolia as a member of the parliament 4 times, Prime Minister 2 times, and was elected President for 2 terms, through which he was emphasized the need to foster human rights. He has also advocated for democracy in Asia, creating Asian Partnership for Democracy initiative within the confines of the Community of Democracies, the largest international organization that drives the global democracy agenda, which Mongolia presided in 2011 until 2013. So please welcome Mr. Elbegdorj Tsakhia.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your kind introduction. I'm talking from Mongolia. When you hear the name of Mongolia, I think some of you think about great history. Maybe some of you think about Genghis Khan, Kublai Khan, or island of democracy between Russia and China. Very exotic place and friendly people. I think all those are true. And once Mongolians built biggest land empire ever existed on this earth. Lately in 20th century, my country became a communist country after Russia, second communist country. In the late of 1980s, in my country happened democratic revolution that changed everything. And during our great transition from communism to democracy, we did not shatter a single window. We did not shed a drop of blood. That transition was totally peaceful. And thanks to our people's free choice, I had a privilege to serve my country 2 terms as president. You know, you guys maybe think about it, you know, when person becomes president, usually that person became a very different one. But that's bullshit. Usually, if good person becomes, that person usually became good president, good things too. If bad person became president, usually continues bad things. You know, when you become president, you usually continue your job. I would like to make here my point. You guys, leaders, young leaders of Ubuntu, Ubuntu means, I saw it, humanity. You are the best hopes of humanity. Our young leaders of the world, from all continents, from most of the countries. And because of that, if you dedicate your service to others, to your community, to make your community better place to live in, to make your country better place, to make the world better place, I think you guys, Ubuntu leaders, you're gonna be good leaders of your community, good leaders of your country. I believe in that. And now I would like to throw some of ideas in order to overcome obstacles and building bridges, what I did. I became president in July 10, 2009, and I entered to government house and I entered to my room. Actually, president office was big. And I said from that, I am not going to sit in this office. From this office, I will make citizen hall. You know, let's remake this office as a citizen hall. I would like to build from my government house the bridge to my people in order to keep me connected, in order to keep my government connected with the people. And after 1 month, we actually remade from that office citizen hall in government house. You know, before that in Mongolia, we had more prisons, more detention centers than citizen halls. And we got citizen hall in our government house, and people come to that citizen hall and they discussed every draft of decree, every decision of government, every draft of law. Before discussing in a parliament, people discussed it. people who are interested in that draft of law, they came to government house, they discussed it, and they contributed it. And that became actually a big movement in my country. Just after 1.5 years, we got all over Mongolia more than 600 citizen halls. Every small community, every small towns got citizen halls. Even detention centers got citizen halls. You know, in order people to participate, they need space. They need place. They need to come. They need place to gather. You have to provide it. And that was a really big result. After that second idea, I would like to throw it to you. If you have place there, if people are coming, people need something to solve, need something to contribute to your society. People need money. After that, I initiated local development fund initiative in our law. From our budget, we actually allocated some money to the local communities all over Mongolia. And we had formal, if your local community is far from your capital city, you will get more money. If your local community more population, you will get more money. When people got money, we actually asked people, bring in your idea, what kind of problem in your local community you have. Using that money, please solve your problem. When people got money, they usually think that, oh, we don't have a street light. We have a garbage collection problem, or we have sewage problem, or we have, you know, everything. And they changed it. And every local town, every local community in Mongolia actually changed, like face changing into good. You know, everything became really good to live in your local community. That continued for years. After that, I actually initiated one idea with my capital city governor, and we talked about, let's make less bureaucratic. Let's make less bureaucratic our government services, our city services. Let's bring that city services from city hall building to the shopping center. That happened really in Mongolia, in real life. All possible services, government services, city services, we brought to the shopping center. When people come to buy bread and butter, people got their driver licenses, marriage licenses, everything, permissions. You know, if you have construction business, you can get the sewage permission or land permission. And after that, we asked people, how you guys enjoying this service? And more than 90% of people are responding saying that we are enjoying this service. If you live in an open country, if you live in a democratic country, not much like approval, you know, you cannot get. But we got through that service, 90% of our people supported that services come to the shopping center. After that, I initiated with my colleagues from Latin America, Europe, and Africa, Asia, there was the Open Government Initiative. I initiated law called Glass Account Law. Usually people interested how you guys in government spend taxpayers' money, public fund. And in Mongolia, we got law. Means that every decision related with the expenditure of public money, that should be updated. That should be posted. Because of that, people became, you know, those decision makers became more responsible. I just throw it to you 4 ideas, and you got those 4 ideas. And I think Ubuntu leaders today, you guys enjoying one thing, our young people everywhere enjoying one thing, that's the wealth of the knowledge, wealth of the technology. We all connected to each other. If you look for the best experiences to solving local problems, there are plenty of them, plenty of them. Today we are living like in a time of renaissance, you know. Humanity is creating more than any other time in our history, actually. Humanity is enjoying more news, more knowledge, more technology. And once I told you about Genghis Khan, even though Genghis Khan once said, it was easy to conquer the world on horseback. What was challenging is to dismount and try to govern. I think is still true today. And let's work together. And I'm thinking I'm the part of this big movement, Ubuntu movement. And thank you for inviting me. And let's work together. Let's roll together. Thank you very much. If you have questions, I'm ready to answer.
Thank you so much, Mr. Tsakhia. I just want to mention, because I forgot to give the audience a very highlighting information that Mr. Tsakhia is also member of the Club de Madrid. Is one of the organizations that supports the United Nations. And this organization, the Club de Madrid, it's the largest forum of democratic former presidents and prime ministers who leverage their experience to strengthen democratic practices. And it was very uplifting to hear your speech. And I was reading the chat, and people are just amazed by how you involved your solutions in the government and work so very well towards your community. It's wonderful, and thank you so much for your work towards the community and for the Bengali people, and also for all the leaders of the world. I have two questions from the audience. First of all, Joana Good da Silva from the United Kingdom, she's Portuguese, although, she asks, how can youngsters help tackling social exclusion?
You know, I think social exclusion is like a denial of rights for someone, or maybe for others, maybe denial of resources, denial of opportunities. Also, I think social exclusion is related with the age, with the sex, or with the disability, religion, race. You know, social exclusion is related with the status of socio-economic status, and even migration status. I think poverty is one of the form of the social exclusion. And when I think social exclusion, I usually put versus social inclusion. And we need to think about social inclusion. And when we talk about social exclusion, how to understand social exclusion, it's, I think, very simple. Every one of you invited to the party except one of you. That's the social exclusion. How you should join to all other people means that there are many good initiatives, and all we know that no child left behind. That's the big thing. Means that no one should not left behind. And I think in this term, in social exclusion, government has a role to play. And also private sector has a role to play. And the government means government can bring that policy framework and create legal environment. Civil society, of course, we can identify what kind of social exclusion we have in our community, in our city. And after that, we can talk with the like-minded people and bring some solutions to that. I think in order to tackle social exclusion problem, we should believe that social inclusion is possible. And if you believe in that, you can work in order to bring those excluded people and to your party, to your community, and include it, and also learn from others. And you know, my social media address there, if you would like to follow me on Facebook, there is my Facebook. If you would like to follow me on Twitter, there is my Twitter. Please drop a line in my DM and we're gonna connect it. Also, we will continue to share our news. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your openness, and you share the context of the social media. And the last question I have is from Brian Torres from Nicaragua, and says, besides becoming self-aware of social issues such as poverty, what do you recommend for individuals in civil society to take actions to reduce poverty in their countries, regardless of their socio-economic or education background?
If I understood correctly this question, Even I'm the member of the civil society. How can I contribute for the reduction of poverty?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Even though the people wants to contribute doesn't have as much in terms of social economic capacity.
Yeah. I think in order to contribute to that political will is, of course, very important. If you believe in yourself, that's very important. And the other thing I would like to say, just see what kind of resource you have, what kind of tool you have in order to contribute to that. And if even anyone can go to in your city, to your main square and hold some sign, reduce poverty. I'm calling the accountability from my government. That will make big difference. There will be some people will come to you and like-minded people, and you will get more friends there. You're gonna form now alliances. And once you form alliances, you sit together and how to tackle this issue. Maybe we together bring best services to those people who are poor, and we show in a shame to the government how people are tackling this problem, helping each other. That's really important idea. And I think in this regard, being public servant, being serving to others, and being helping poor people, I think one thing I usually think about that, you have to be authentic. You have to be yourself. You believe in. If you talk from your heart, if you do from your heart your action, people will believe in you. That's not show. That's just no one post for the social media. That's true. I care about you. You have to talk about these things to your people, to your friends, and form alliances and act.